Windy start to the week, but the biggest changes are coming in the back half. Find out what is headed our way as we head towards the weekend. Karen?
All right, Ben, also first at 4, the UAW reacting to reports there will be another guilty plea in the union's corruption scandal. We'll tell you where things stand. Paula.
Well, as we file away the last holiday season of the decade, there's a new kind of filing that's on the rise, divorce filings. We'll explain why. These stories and more are happening right now on Local 4 First at 4.
Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
Good afternoon. Let's start with that breaking news over in Shelby Township. Police are investigating a shooting in a parking lot near the intersection of 23 Mile Road and Shelby. The situation has been over the past few hours. Right now, a source telling Local 4 the shooting was involving cousins. One man was taken to Troy Beaumont, where he's in critical. The alleged shooter has surrendered. Police say there's not further danger to the public. We have a crew on the scene. We'll have a live report at 5. Police are searching for a group of robbers after 3 Target stores are targeted overnight over in Wayne County. Take a look. Those robberies happened in Dearborn, Allen Park, and Woodhaven. Police say the thieves started in Woodhaven about 1 o'clock in the morning. They then moved on to stores in Allen Park and Dearborn. Robbers shattered glass entry doors to get in and then stole thousands of dollars in electronics before escaping in just minutes.
I think it's crazy. I mean, it's Target. You think they have like 24/7 surveillance, and well, you think you live in a small town and you're safe, and I guess it's just, you can't ever assume that anymore.
Police are looking for a silver Dodge Durango in connection to the break-ins. A similar break-in happened last week at a Target store in Brighton. Police believe all these Target break-ins are connected. Local 4 has learned former UAW Director Vance Pearson is expected to plead guilty to charges connected to the union's corruption scandal. We've learned Pearson is now charged in an information document, meaning a guilty plea is likely on the way. A new charge accuses Pearson of embezzling union funds for things like golf, cigars, and clothes. Back in November, the UAW International Executive Board removed Pearson from his position and stripped him of his union membership. We are hearing from the UAW this afternoon. They say in part, if Vance Pearson misused union funds to buy personal items, he blatantly violated his oath of office and betrayed the trust of all of our hard-working members. We'll have more on what comes next tonight at 5. Pretty gorgeous out there, seeing sunshine, 40s this afternoon. Doesn't get much better in January, but it could get much worse this week. I guess you can't keep the good streak going, right, Ben?
No, Karen. I mean, we are in winter. There's no doubt about it. And when January rolls into Michigan, you kind of expect some of what we've got in the forecast, but not today. Sun's out. Yes, it's a little bit breezy out there, but the 40-degree temperatures continue our above-average streak. Wind chills right now are in the 30s. That is all going to change dramatically as we head towards especially the back half of the week. But the streak is officially going to come to an end Wednesday. We'll look at how cold it's going to get then. Second half of the week, we'll just call it messy, and we'll explain why. And somebody's getting it good over this weekend. A pretty powerful winter storm is going to hit somewhere on Saturday, and we'll talk about our chances of it being here in just a few minutes. Karen?
President Donald Trump is facing increasing tensions with both Iran and congressional critics. No sign of de-escalation in this international crisis. Hundreds of thousands of people marched through Iran today, showing their grief and anger over the killing of General Qasem Soleimani during a U.S. airstrike in Baghdad. His coffin traveled to a handful of cities. He will be laid to rest tomorrow. Kimberly Gill in the newsroom with the fallout in the Middle East and on Capitol Hill. Good afternoon, Kim.
Hi, Karen. Good afternoon to you. Even as Iran grieves the general's death, there are new threats of retaliation coming from several key players in that country. The daughter of General Soleimani is joining the chorus of threats. Today, she said families of American soldiers in Western Asia will spend their days waiting for the death of their loved ones. The general who replaced her father is also vowing to take revenge on the U.S., and Iran has already scrapped all the limits of an international nuclear deal reached in 2015. That prompted President Trump to tweet in all caps that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. The U.S. is also facing a backlash in Iraq, where Parliament has just voted to kick all 5,000 American troops out of the country. The president tweeted, if that happens, Iraq needs to pay the U.S. back for military investments in that country. Congress is trying to put the brakes on further military action. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says the House will vote on a war powers resolution to limit what President Trump can do. Democrats also want to see evidence that Soleimani was planning an imminent attack. The White House says senators will be briefed on the intelligence about the general on Wednesday. Karen, we will be following any and all new developments on Local 4 News at 5. For now, we'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right. Thank you, Ken. There is a new development this afternoon in the impeachment of President Trump, and it comes from former White House National Security Advisor John Bolton. Bolton has announced he is willing to testify at a Senate impeachment trial if he is subpoenaed. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is under pressure to allow witnesses to testify in the Senate. McConnell has not yet reacted to Bolton's announcement. Rain in some parts of Australia is slowing the advance of brush fires, but the flames continue to take a heavy toll. With hot weather expected to return in the next few days, the fires are expected to intensify once again. The death toll today climbed to 25 from the fires that have already burned an estimated 30,000 square miles of territory. Beyond the human toll, the brush fires have also devastated Australia's many animal populations. Take a look at this. Suffering koala bears accepting offers of drinking water from rescue workers. Even kangaroos are desperate for water. Australia's bird population is losing its habitats. The same is true for bees. Experts say Australia has lost 500 million wild and domestic animals to these fires. Today, typically a busy day for most of us, the first full work week of a new year. But one profession tends to be very busy. We're talking about divorce attorneys. January usually sees a huge uptick in divorce filings. Paula Tutman joins us now from Clinton Township with why this month is chosen as a tough end in hopes of new beginnings. Paula.
Hey, Karen. So statistics are statistics, and there are unfortunately couples out there who are saying not one more crummy holiday. But we've been talking to experts, and they say, you know, before you close a file on an unhappy marriage, make sure you slow your roll and get a plan in place. Well, when did you file? This Macomb County mom made her decision for a January divorce filing in hopes she could save the holidays for her children.
Not wanting to disrupt the normal holiday routine.
But that's not what happened.
The whole saying, fake it till you make it, was not the case. He very much exposed his feelings and his thoughts and his bitterness and anger. That did not help the holidays.
One more holiday with the kids is one of the biggest reasons couples wait until January to file, says attorney Vince Manzella of Clinton Township.
There's also a little bit of wanting to see what the W-2 looks like, the final paycheck, in order to get your ducks in a row for child support or spousal support purposes.
Birmingham attorney Laura Eisenberg agrees, but says since the non-primary breadwinner usually has the most drastic negative impact of life after divorce, and because that usually means the woman, plans to end a marriage have to include planning before you alert the spouse.
You need to know what your life is going to look like before you file for divorce. Absolutely. And you have to look at it realistically. People have oftentimes unrealistic expectations about what their post-divorce life is going to look like.
Do your homework and do the math.
To pay an attorney retainer, I used the year-end bonus or commission check. Knowing what I knew from my attorney, how long the process would take, it would put me right around sometime in the summer months where the housing market was best to sell and buy.
The attorney and the client have a conversation, kind of get an idea of what things look like, maybe run the child support formula so you have an idea based upon the parenting schedule, how much cash is going to come in on a monthly basis.
Interestingly enough, Vince says as emotions run the room and anger controls the conversation, in more cases than not, when the dust clears and property is divided and custody determined, many months and many attorney fees later, the final terms have rarely moved far beyond the first terms at the beginning of the fight. So there is something interesting that our two attorney experts are split on, Karen. So Vince believes that we could have a boon of divorce filings because the stock market is high and people want to split those assets before the stock market falls. However, Laura actually believes that we could possibly see fewer filings simply because there's so much turmoil domestically and internationally, and people tend to huddle together and stick things out to wait to see what happens. So I guess only time will tell. Karen?
A sad story, but unfortunately, like you said, a reality for this month. All right. Thank you, Paula.
The statistics are the statistics.
Yeah,
you
they
bet.
really are. Still ahead, first at 4, Amazon just announced a new partnership that might convince you to bring Alexa wherever you go. But first, let's check in with Dr. McGeorge.
Hey, Karen, a lot of people are starting new exercise routines. I'll tell you what you might want to listen to in order to boost your results. Plus, if you struggle to keep New Year's resolutions, there might be a better way. I'll talk about a Monday reset in good health.
All right, up first, a bizarre bug mystery. It's hard to believe what a manager found inside a men's dressing room in this Walmart. Oh, we've got this story right after the break.